kind of form a future identity. And like I said, with identity, it's like your body creates kind of like a homeostasis effect around that identity, and it starts to move in that direction. As opposed to before, where the identity was negative with the fixed mindset, this would be an identity in the future, right? You're striving towards the future identity, and your body will move towards it, which is funny enough. Another thing you could do as well, if you're a more like past focused individual, I would say remember what the child version of yourself wanted to be, right? Because we're more idealistic in the past. So a lot of the times our past version actually had bigger dreams than we do right now. Replace your current dreams with the past version of yourself's dreams, and that will trick past focused individuals into striving for a bigger future. Actually, I just came up with that just now, but it's a good idea. It's a good idea, and I think I do a little bit of this because the past version of me was very, I would say, cocky and idealistic. So he had a very grand vision of who he was, and obviously, life hits you, reality hits you, and you kind of erode that vision a little bit. But if you could go back and pick that back up, it can actually increase your future performance.
Christian killed that there. I mean, like we say here, man, you're getting gems over here, man. Straight gems. Okay. Okay. And the bonus slide here, right? So goal with deadline without a deadline equals fantasy, right? If you do not have a deadline with your goal, that's just Narnia, bro. Like you're just in Narnia land. You need to put a goal with a deadline. Nothing happens, nothing crystallizes until you set a deadline. So like no matter what you're doing, whether it be writing a book, getting in shape, going back to school, anything, you set a fucking deadline, right? Goal plus deadline plus plan plus consistent action equals success. Okay, that's how you get the success. You need that goal plus the deadline plus the plan plus the consistent action. If you're a quitter, you're never gonna get to the point where you're gonna be successful, because a lot of times to be successful, you have to do something so many times. You have to do it so many times. The first 100 times you may not get no recognition at all. That's just how things are. Me and Christian talk about that shit all the time. Like, damn, man, you remember we did that shit like maybe 200 times, and then magically out of nowhere, like it revolutionized in our brain, and our brain changed, and then like we just made this huge breakthrough, right? So you gotta put in that consistent action in.
This is where development becomes really important, because as we know, there's people that are geared more towards being focused on the big outcome, whereas other people are more focused on the progression, right? But the thing is, if you only have progression, you might go in circles forever, okay? And if you only have outcome in mind, then the goal might be too big for you to even start, right? So this is where development really is important, because you need to develop both, right? That's the problem with having a fixed mindset, and that's the problem with typology communities as a whole, because a lot of them think very in a mindset of a fixed mindset, okay? But when you change to the growth mindset, now you can start to add other things. You could, okay, I'm an outcome person, but let me start to set smaller goals and plan those out so that I could get some positive feedback mechanisms going, get some, so I could actually start these goals and have deadlines for them. Because the thing is, like, if you want to achieve something so big that it seems impossible, it might dissuade you from actually starting it.
But ultimately, you want to be an independent person and realizing, okay, I know I'm outcome focused, but I got to have the actionable steps to get to the outcome. Okay.
Another thing I want to say is sometimes you got to eat shit for a while before you get to that meaningful goal, because there's a reason why meaningful goal is at the end and it has most of the steps. Okay. It's because a lot of the times that meaningful goal might take some time for you to get to the point where you can start to take action on that. Okay. One thing that Murcer and I are very good at is, we see the big vision in the future. We see the big vision. Sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do for a long time before you get to the big vision. Okay. And people, I feel like sometimes are not willing to do that. And that is why they'll never reach that meaningful goal, is because they want to just jump to it. It's like you can't just jump to it. Okay, there's steps involved to get there. Okay,
Yeah.
I think as long as you realize that and you set a plan, you set some deadlines, you say, okay, I'm gonna eat shit for this amount of time, you know, and as soon as I can, I'm gonna jump to that meaningful goal and start to take action on that. But you know,
Yeah.
there are gonna be times where you need to slow your roll and just, you know, grind it out.